might ask you how you feel. And I think boxing is your time.
Damn, Pics.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Mac, also known as Mac Simmons. Wanted to welcome you guys back to the show. Just wanted to take a quick moment and say thank you for supporting the channel. Last week, or at the beginning of the week on Tuesday the 30th, we hit 3,000 subscribers, so the goal has been hit. So the giveaway that I'm working on, details on that coming out here within the next couple of days. So 3,000 subscribers, 3 giveaways, and it hit on the 30th. So thank you guys once again. I appreciate all the support. So to get back to our regular programming, today we have another statue unboxing and review. We have the 1/3 scale Prime 1 Studios Batman Who Laughs Deluxe Edition. So I have been avoiding watching any videos on this guy, so that way when I bring the review it's fresh, and that way you guys aren't hearing the same thing repeated. So but yeah, so I'm very excited to get this thing opened up. Make sure you guys do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you guys have the bell notification turned on so that way you know when I'm posting new content. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. Okay guys, so we got the box out of the shipper. Everything looks okay. It did have a little bit of damage here on the back part of the box. I don't know if you guys can see that right here, but besides that, everything else looks okay. The box is actually pretty cool. It's got you know, some chains on it, some red writing for Museum Masterline, Dark Knight's Metal, Batman Who Laughs, and it's pretty cool. Quick story, I was able to get this off of the UPS guy today. The funniest thing is about it is that he is aware of what is always being shipped to the house here. As always, these big boxes, so I'm on alert at UPS. I think it's kind of funny, but I thought you guys should know that. So, but I did help him get it off the truck, which is pretty cool. So I kind of worked for UPS for like 50 seconds or something like that. So the one thing that I've noticed that is different about these boxes is that Prime 1 has went ahead and added a precautions and disclaimer notice here on the side. So just so you guys can see that, I'll try to post a picture of it so you guys can read it. But like I said, the box is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the next part of the show and get it out of the styrofoam. Okay, so we got the styrofoam out. We have 2 layers. We have a top and a bottom. So let's go ahead and give Mac Blade his just dues. Pop this top. Okay, so we have our mini pieces of the Batman Who Laughs. This is the back part of the base here. We have our chains here that go around the statue. So the one thing that I've noticed is that they've wrapped this statue in different types of material than what is normal. Normally it has like cloth, like a silky cloth, but it has like this like kind of paper. So this is what you get with the exclusive, is this extra Damien. Of course the head sculpt's not on it, but oh my gosh, at least pull that out right now. So there are so many pieces here, so let me go ahead and get them out on the table, and then we'll splice into the knife action part 2 and get the base and everything out. Alright, so I wanted to show you guys kind of what the amount of stuff that you get out of the top layer. There's quite a bit of stuff in there, so let's move ahead to the cutting open the second layer. So this is the bottom layer, and it has Batman Who Laughs body, the Robin, the base. So let me go ahead and pull out the base. So there we have 335 out of 500 of the DX. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything else out and get on to the assembly part.
I'd ask you how you feel, but I think Batsy has your time.
Damn, Pics.
Okay guys, so everything is out here, laid out on the table. So we have the body, all the heads to the Batman Who Laughs, and we have the little Robins, and then we have the Damien over here, the Robins over there, and the capes, and then the Batman Who Laughs sign on the back. We have this massive amount of chains over here, and these collars and everything else. So I'm not gonna lie, this is a very intimidating piece to kind of put together once you see everything all out. But so we're gonna go ahead and solder on through this like the professionals that we are. They do send a assembly instructions here, as you can see. So quite a bit of steps here, as you I can see listed here. But let's go ahead and get tackling it. So first up is going to be the body. Body goes to the base here. It has a big key and peg that slots in right here. Okay, so we have the body in. Next up are the boot ties here. So little key, peg, and magnet. So there's a rounder one, it goes right here. This one sits right there. The next up we have the left arm. Just keys in right here. The right arm. Next part after that is the head sculpt. Then we have the Batman Who Laughs, the sign. Goes here on the back of the base. Then the next part, we start to assemble the Robins. Okay, so the first Robin that we're going to be installing into the base, you have to put his little cape on first. So it's got a little magnet and a little key that slots into the back. Like so, and then it has a little key peg that fits into the base right over here. Pegged in, air in the back. So his foot is supposed to rest on the sign. It's not actually touching, but very tight fit back there. So next up you have the arms. Pegs in like that. And then you have this fist one for his left. Goes like that. Next up you have his necktie. Has a little peg and it keys in right here. Then you take the head sculpt and the little collar. There you have the first Robin installed. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, and then we have the second Robin. Same as before, just repeat. Take this cape and you put it in the back, like so. And he's got a little peg and a big key here. So how he fits in, you basically just kind of fit it in the spot. Hopefully you guys can see that. Trying to get out of the way here, but also trying to be careful. him. You take the arms, goes in like that. Then you have his head sculpt, the mouth open, take the same with the little ring there or collar. Then we have the last Robin. Rinse and repeat just like the 2 times before. Cape. And this one goes up here. So there's a peg that you can't really see. It's back behind this front of the base, and then he's got a little peg right here where his kind of where his butt cheeks are. It fits right here. Like that. His arms. Head sculpt. The collar. Ring facing outwards. So you got all the Robins installed. So next we'll move on to doing the worst part, which is I believe these chains. Okay, so the install for the chains are going to go like this. You have these little clasps here that go on the Robin necks, right around these little collars. And then they have this little pull cord to help you pull these up, the chains up through his hands here. So, and it actually has magnets in it too. I just found that out. So, all right. So first, what you'll do is you'll take one of these clasps and you'll put it on this first Robin's neck, like so. Then you will attach the chain, or you could do it both ways. You could attach the chain first so that we don't have to mess around with it too much. Okay, so we got the first chain installed on the collar. And you'll take this little hook, just like that, and you'll run it straight through his hand. Be careful not to scratch anything. Leave a little bit of slack here on the collar, like that. And then you'll take this other clasp and put it on this collar. And I guess you can kind of see where it's going to fit or what's going to look best. Okay, so once you have the Robin in the middles clasp installed, you can take this other one and put it on this Robin's neck. And then you'll take your little tool and run it right up through his left hand here. And there you have the first chain installed. Okay, so this is how it should look when the first chain is installed. I've made the adjustments that I think are needed. With this one, like I said, it had it on this side, but I wanted to have it a little bit more slack on that side. This one is good, and that one is the way it should be. So now we'll get on to installing the second chain. All right, so the second chain, you'll follow the same process, and you'll pull it through his hand. So like I said, there is a magnet in here, so just be careful pulling that through. You don't want to get it snagged on the other chain. Let that one droop for the time being. Take the other end, run it through this hand. And through. And that one you're going to wrap around back up this hand. So that should be what it looks like there with the second chain installed. Okay, so with the third chain, what you're going to do is you're going to actually run it through the back of this Batman Last logo. So you're going to take the tool, and you're going to run it through the M. Then you're going to come back and run it through the N. Okay. Once you have that, then you come back through here through the shoe on this side. You basically have it kind of like this, and that's how that goes. So you're going to wrap this chain around the back, and then you're going to take the chain through basically this front of his boot there, and you're going to run it all the way to the other side. Like this. Okay, so I gotta hold it. So that you guys should be able to see where it's coming through, but it's gonna actually come through right here. So when you're done, it should look like this. Okay, so you're going to keep going with this chain. You're going to take it below this robin's foot. You're going to keep coming around. And then once you're to the back, you'll take this other clasp and you will attach it and take this fourth chain and attach it. Then just keep going around the base. And I guess you could do whatever you want, I guess, if you're gonna, depending on what type of design you're going for. Like for me, I'm just gonna keep it like this. Okay, so once you're around to here, I'm not sure if you're actually supposed to be able to clasp it, but the clasp to connect it is over here. So there's no way this is going to reach that. So what I'm going to do is just basically tuck it in here. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is 100% right, but I think it's fine. If you want, you can always go add a clasp to it later on down the road. But that's how it looks when it is all together. So trying to follow the directions on this, as far as the chain goes, it can be kind of intimidating, but once you kind of get the hang of it and go through it, it's not that big of a deal. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this Damien together. So this is the exclusive right here. So you have his little cape and a little key, and it basically goes in like that. This is the head sculpt. Take his hand, install that. And he has this Court of Owls mask. You just kind of drape it in his hand, like so. The regulars don't come with this Damien, but that's what he looks like all together. Okay guys, so I'm gonna take some time and check over this piece, check for any type of issues, damages, and come back with a review for you guys. Okay, so I've taken my good old time and looked over this piece, and just right off the bat, it's one of the best pieces that I have seen in a long time, as far as just down to just accessories and just detail. I mean, every time you look at this, you could just kind of stare at different parts of the statue for, it seems like forever. But I'm gonna go ahead and start with the review portion of it. So starting off with this little Damien DX exclusive, everything about this little accessory is done very nice, down to his little, his little base, and it's cool because it has like this little felt material on the bottom, and it has these little pads to keep it from sliding. But the base on him is done very well. It's all one piece besides the arm and the head and the cape. But his sculpture is done very well. You can see all the little details there with his muscles and his veins that are coming through, colored very well. It's like they do, I'm not sure if that's translucent resin. A lot of times Prime 1 does that, but I can't really pick up any hints on that. So with this Court of Owls mask, this is a very cool nod too. It's got the little blood details on it. It's very cool. I've seen in some pictures that people have had it actually on Damien's face, but I don't think it actually fits. It's supposed to be sitting here in his hand. So, but everything else on it is cool. You see how he's got his little Robin torn off costume there, with the little red parts of the costume, the cape, weathering, and all that is done very well. As you can see, it's got the little holes and the little rips in it, just like worn and just beat up. And his head sculpt is done very well, very creepy. I mean, if that was something that you woke up next to, I don't think you'd be doing too well.
Bye-bye.
But very cool teeth. And it's got like the little, like, I'm not sure if that's blood or if that's supposed to be like, the Joker's lipstick type of red that's going on there that's coming down. That's a very cool effect there, and his eyes are done very creepily. And I think that it's got even a little red detail in his eyes, little blood vessels there. And his hair is green, and it's got the little details throughout it with the dark and looks like black in there, but very cool little exclusive or DX option that you have here with the Damien. Moving on to the main part of the show, which would be the entire Batman Who Laughs statue. Everything about it, like I said, it's just great. So I mean, down at the base, I mean, you have basically the same kind of tones you have with most of the Prime 1 pieces, is that you have the dark grays and the blacks and just like the dingy looking bases. I did notice here that I did have a little bit of a chip right here next to this Robin's foot. As you guys can see, I'll have to contact Sideshow and see if there's a resolution for that. But everything else on this, I like how it has like these like this is like a steampunk type look, and it's got like this like very cool like metal kind of aspect to the base. As far as like you have these like little gargoyles or skulls that are up front, and you have like these vines that are kind of have this red kind of detail to them going up the base, and it's very dingy, like I said. And then you have the bat symbol here on the back. That is all, of course, has the vines running up through it as well. Very cool looking. And the same on the side. And then going upwards, you have like the first Robin right here, and he's like reaching out to come get you. And very cool. It follows the Damien very cool like look of sculpture, and it's just the paint is done very well. Same kind of look on his face. It's just that this one has the teeth that or the little black kind of gooiness that's coming down the side, and he doesn't have any irises. He's just got the white eyes, and he's got the completed mask, a Robin mask on there. And the head sculpt on that is done very well, still with the same kind of details with the cape, but this one has, all the rest of the Robins have the full costume on there too. So this one is the same, very cool looking as far as detail wise goes. I like how that one has the mouth open, and you can see that the different kind of look and the glissiness in the mouth. And then he's got the same kind of look. I think the collars are done very well too. There's just a lot of things that you can see on this and kind of miss, but everything about the Robins are basically done the exact way. They're just posed differently, and they have their different looks or expressions on their face. Like with this one, he has his mouth clenched and he's got kind of an overbite, and he's got his little teeth coming out. I just think that the mouth detail and what they did with him is very cool. So the one thing that differs about this one is that it's got a little tie. The rest of the Robins just have just the standard kind of look to them on these two. Over here, that one's a little different. Like I said before, it has the same detail on the capes. It has the damage detail in the rips and the tears, sculpted very nicely. And then moving on to the Batman. So the Batman Who Laughs is done exceptionally well. Going down to his boots, he's got the platforms there, and you can tell that it's got a little bit of kind of damage detail going throughout it. It's got the upwards toes on it, and then he's got like red laces that go through the boots that you can see, but it's very dingy looking, but they're sculpted very well. It does look like leather, and I think that just has a very gothy steampunk look to the whole piece. And then his legs have got the leather going up throughout, and then it's got the tears. You can see his skin throughout the tears and the leather, and I like how they did the stitching on that too. And basically the kind of the red that's going throughout the boots is kind of, you can see it coming through right here as well. Hope you guys can pick that up on camera. Coming up to his groin area, you have the same kind of detail with everything being torn. You can see the red that's going throughout the entire costume right here, that's draping down. Really cool leather workings on the statue here. On the back, you can see it's got the same kind of detail. I was looking to see up close if that's kind of the red going through, but I think that's just all black. On his shoulders here, you can see the red detail that's throughout the rest of the costume as well. Very cool leather workings on the shoulder pads here. This piece is sculpted phenomenally. I mean, you can't tell that this thing is actually sculpted. It does look like real leather, and they did a very good job with that. So everything to the clasps on the top part of the shoulder pads, to the front of his stomach area here, to the sides you can still see the torn leather and the stitches going throughout there. And I like how they added these chains. They went with a very cool chain type of detail and look, and the way that you interchange and route them throughout the statue and kind of have them placed is very, very cool as well. So you can kind of do it any way you like, but you kind of want to follow the directions as much as you can, so that way you can get the kind of desired look that the production piece has in the photos. Then onto his face, you have that very, very sinister look on the Batman Who Laughs. The teeth are done very well, very nasty. I definitely wouldn't want to be bit by this guy here. I'm not sure exactly what type of bacteria you would get by getting bit by this guy, but the mouth is done very, very well. I mean, that's one of the selling points to this piece. So as far as how he can see out of this, I'm not exactly sure how he does it, but I think that spike wise and detail wise is done very well. Looks just like how it does in the comics, and you can see exactly the same detail going throughout the rest of the statue, with the stitchings going throughout the entire piece and up to the top. And then the same red that is throughout the entire statue, it really comes out right here. So I think that is done exceptionally well. Everything about this, like I said, I know I've said it a bunch of times, this piece is, trust me, it's awesome. Then you have his bat ears or bat horns, whatever you want to call them. Very pointy, and they look fantastic. But everything about this looks great. So yeah. This piece is awesome. It is done exceptionally well. Anybody that is getting it, you are going to be happy with what you guys receive. Okay, so my final thoughts on this piece are, I know I've said it a bunch of times in this review, the piece is awesome. On a max scale, I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. If it wasn't for that little blemish I had on the base, it would be a 10. I think this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Anybody that's got this coming into your collection, like I said before, you're going to be very pleased with what you get. It is not an exclusive or fail to me. The Damien is a nice add-on to it, but it's not something that you need in order to say you can't have this statue in your collection. Just Batman Last on its own is just very, very intense. So everything sculpt wise, it's great. Paint is awesome. I don't have any paint blemishes. Prime One does a really good job with paint in general, so I won't knock anything as far as the paint goes on it. So the one thing I forgot to mention here in the review was the Batman Who Laughs little nameplate here on the back with the little crowbar details going throughout it. That is very cool add-on to the statue itself. But yeah, guys, like I said, if you have this piece coming, you're going to be very excited. This piece has a very high rating in my collection. If you're into like just the gruesome type pieces, horror stuff, this would be a perfect addition to your collection. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Stay tuned for the pictures at the end of the video where the music blaring, so you guys can jam out to that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I'd ask you how you feel, and I think Batsy and your time.
Damn, Pics.
I am Batman. ask you how you feel. And I think backseat in your time.
Damn, Pics.